Hello, dear friends. Good morning. Such a beautiful, beautiful morning. So, I am having my morning cup of tea, and this one is jasmine green tea, and white flower, jasmine flower with green leaves, and the leaf is relatively darker color comparing with the one I usually drink, but it has so much. It's very good. Each one is different. There is a lot of substance in this. I mean, the flavor essence in this tea. It's quite difficult to explain. Let's just keep on reading the Book of Thoth. And this one is number 9 of the Egyptian mythology story book I was reading. And I have already read this story from another book. And then I kept on reading. This one in this particular book is in story number 10. So I jumped it. I didn't read it because Egyptian mythology story, each story is an independent story. There is not very, very huge much of correlation, relationship. So I missed it. And then I got friends asking, where is story number 9? Not only 1, 2 or 3 or even more people asking about it. So I think maybe I should keep on read it and read this version of it. Anyway, if you have heard anything different from what I have read, believe in what you have read, and just count my reading as wrong. Anyway, another thing about Egyptian mythology that there are so many stories, and there is, from what my shallow knowledge, there is not a consistent way of saying some story has to be this way or that way. Maybe because they didn't record it as other stories, or maybe they didn't develop into a very well-written, talked about mythology system, like Greek mythology. And maybe later on we will meet with other mythology stories that has kind of a varied version of it. The Book of Thoth, and I pronounce it T-O-T, but the way to write it is T-H-O-T. I always think in Egyptian language there is not a th sound. The Book of Thoth, it's just sounds English, sounds Anglo-Saxon, sounds not. So I choose to pronounce it the Book of Thoth. Many of the wisest men in ancient Egypt studied magic, because it was thought to be the path to the highest wisdom. They study magic as the highest wisdom, which is quite different from our nowadays. We learn about science, we learn about psychology, we learn about human behavior, we learn about mathematics, chemistry, physics, We learn about coding. We learn about algorithm, and yeah. Unfortunately, I am not so good at YouTube algorithm, so this video is very likely to be omitted or to be ignored by YouTube, which will be known between only a few of us. It becomes our secret guarded garden. Okay. So the ancient Egypt think magic is the highest, is the path to the highest wisdom. That kind of makes sense when I think about the Rosicrucian Museum in San Jose. It's a lot about alchemy, magic. Yeah. Maybe I should go there again. Thoth. Thoth, Lord of learning, was also the god of magic powers. The book that contained his most secret wisdom, the Book of Thoth, was lost. It was said that whoever found it would possess all knowledge. Oh, so his book of knowledge, of wisdom, of magic was lost, could not be found. Whoever found it will have the power of all knowledge. Now, among the sons of the warrior Pharaoh, Ramses II was a prince named Satna. So there was a prince, his name Satna, who spent a lot of time studying books. He likes to read. One day, in the temple library of Anum-Ra at Thebes, Anum-Ra, I do not know this god, but there was a library at Thebes. He came across the writing of a prince of long time ago called Nefka-Pa, or Nefka-Ta, Pa, Nefer, Nefer, Ka, Ka, Ptah, Ptah. It's a little bit like Mbappe. You pronounce it Mbappe, called Neferkaptah, Neferkata, who claimed to have found the Book of Thoth. So Neferkaptah. Let me find the sound of it. Pronounce it Neferkata because psychology, PS, we pronounce psychology without the P sound. And yeah, something like it. So Neferkata. Okay. Okay. So there was a prince. His name was Satna. And he read about another book. The book mentioned about another prince, Neferkata, had found the Book of Thoth. So on the book's first page was a spell to enchant all created things, whether in the sky, the earth, the sea, or the mountains. So up in the sky, on the ground, and deep in the sea, or hills or jumping up and down in the mountain, and to understand the language of all beasts and birds and fish. So it's a spell to all created things, no matter where. You can talk to the fish, you can talk to the animal. It's the language of animal. It's a spell. So when Gugu or Titi does not listen to me, I will speak Gugu and Titi's language. Things like don't move, I'm not happy. Yeah. Gugu will know. No. Gugu will never know. Gugu is her own boss. Yes. So those kind of things. And you can talk joy to the sun, joy to the moon, joy to the fish in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. The deep blue sea. So you can talk to the fish, you can talk to Nemo, you can to Dory, you can talk to anything, everything. Yeah. So the first page that has the language of all the things, the spell. And on the second page was a spell to see Ra rising in the heaven with all the gods, and the moon god in his disk, and the ocean depths with all the powers that move in them. Then added in another hand, Satna saw words that made him tremble. The Book of Thoth had been taken by Neferkata on his last journey and laid in his tomb at Memphis. Memphis is Egyptian city, not Memphis of Tennessee. Just Satna persuaded his brother Ankheru. So Satna, it's too hard to remember all these names. Satna had a brother, and he persuaded his brother. His brother had a hard to pronounce name, Ankheru, his brother, to search with him for the tomb. They wandered in the ancient royal burial ground at Memphis, reading the inscriptions, and at last stumbled on the half-buried entrance to Neferkata's tomb. So the one who had the book, the prince Neferkata. Remember this name? It's so important. Neferkata, who has taken the book. So they went to his tomb. Satna's brother trembled when they saw the dark shaft leading downwards. "Stay here if your courage fails," said Satna, and stepped alone into the tomb. So the two brothers, Satna, kind of modern. It's not so modern. It's King Ramses II's period, thousands of years ago. So Satna and his brother went to the tomb. They went to look for it and found a tomb half buried. And there was a very dark entrance going under. And Satna's brother was not so determined, was trembled, was just carried because his brother wanted him to. So Satna said, "You stay here, I go down. If you are afraid, don't go." But the tunnel grew lighter rather than darker. A light shone from the burial chamber where the mummy of Neferkata lay in an open coffin. of polished granite. Open coffin. That is so strange. On his chest lay a papyrus scroll, and it was this that lit the chamber, for this was the Book of Thoth. So he was lying in his own tomb, Neferkata, and on his chest the tomb was open, no cover, and on his chest there lay a scroll. It's a little bit like when you make sushi roll, the bamboo scroll, but this one is a papyrus scroll. Sometimes we roll a roll of paper. We roll our a graduation certificate, or we roll to make it easy to carry a piece of paper. Like that, a roll of it. And on the chest, Satna saw it, and the light came from this roll. As Satna stretched his hand towards it, a voice close to him spoke, "Return, unhappy man. Do not touch the Book of Thoth, the source of all wretchedness. This is the source of all the problems, of all the bizarre things. Do not touch it." In the shadow sat a woman with a small boy beside her. The cold glimmer of their faces revealed them to be neither the living nor the dead. Oh, that sounds so creepy. Is that the word? I do not know English that well. It just sounds quite strange. Each was a ka, the spirit double that dwells in each of us, also the Egyptian source, and does not forsake us, whether we live or die. So there was a man, a boy, and a woman. They are ka. Ka is the spirit. They are actually the ka of our internal fear, internal spirit. That sounds a little bit hard to understand for me, because I do not believe in afterlife. I do not believe in. I have no believing. I am just a person of. So it's kind of hard for me, and it's a new understanding for me. Okay, I am the ka of Ahura, the wife of the prince who lies before you. Oh, Ahura is the spirit. The woman is named Ahura, and that spirit is from Ahura, the woman spirit. And Ahura is the wife of Neferkata. I'm the spirit of the prince who dies, the wife of the prince who dies here. I watch beside him here forever, together as the ka, the Mehab, our beloved child. So they have a child. Mehab is their child. Only thus can we three be together. For Mehab and I lie buried far away at Coptos. The Book of Thoth caused our unhappy separation. Listen and be warned. So now I understand. So in the tomb, Satna saw a coffin, an open coffin, and then he saw two spirits, and these two spirits is the son and wife of Neferkata, the one who is buried there. They were separated in physical location, and only their Ka spirit can be together. Ka. Why it pronounced Ka? In Chinese is Hun. It's kind of hard for me to. And the wife, the spirit of the wife said, I warn you, this Book of Thoth is the source of all our trouble, of our separation. So we are all dead, but we are in different place, and this is the only way we can get together, is that his body, my spirit, and my son's spirit. My husband was a student of magic. I knew nothing but happiness with him, until the day he met an aged priest who, for 100 bars of silver, sold him the secret of how to find the Book of Thoth. The old man said, the book you seek lies in an iron box deep within the bed of the Nile at Coptos. Inside the iron box is a bronze box. Inside the bronze box is a box of cinnamon wood. Some say cypress wood. Inside the box of cinnamon wood is a box of ebony and ivory. Inside the ebony and ivory box is a box of silver. Inside the silver box is a box of gold. And inside this box of gold box, inside this gold box, this lies the Book of Thoth. So you can see the hierarchy of level: iron, bronze, cinnamon, ivory, ebony, silver, gold. Yeah, the level of preciousness of these things. And even inside the gold is the most precious is the Book of Thoth. Scorpions and snakes and every kind of evil reptile guard the iron box, and around it is coiled a serpent that no man can destroy. So this box is wrapped around with snakes, scorpions, everything. Ew. A fluffy box of all the scary reptiles. And then the most inside is a serpent that no one can ever destroy. Though I knew that this knowledge was a curse, my husband persuaded his father, the Pharaoh, to let him sail to Coptos, and by my tear I made him take me also with him and my son Mehab. So I cried, "Oh, you go, you do not go alone. I want to be with you." So my husband took both of us, myself and my son. A fair wind carried us to Coptos. Is the place where this box stays, Coptos, Coptos, C-O-P, Coptos, T-O-S, Coptos, where we made an offering in the temple of Isis, Neferkata, then asked the priest for wax, which he made into a boat. Oh, they make boat with wax, maybe for the sealing part, with men of wax. For his crew, he set to boat on the water and said words of power, and the boat was real, and the crew lived. He stepped into the boat, saying, "Row, row," and they rowed him out into the Nile, while he stayed on the bank, while I stayed on the bank and wept. Okay, so here is a magic. So Neferkata asked for some wax. In another story, is asking for some mud. So he asked for some wax, and he got the wax, and he pronounced some spell words, some magic words, abracadabra. So and then this wax became a boat, and the little wax drops became fighters, warriors, and then they set to go, and the wife was just crying at the bank of it, and then the prince Neferkata went there. When the boat was over the place of the box, Neferkata again made an enchantment, and the water divided so that the boat rested on the river bed. He said to the men of wax, "Dig, dig," and they dig deeper and deeper for 3 days until they reached the iron box and its evil guardians. Water subside, and they dig for 3 days, reach the box. Neferkata stilled the snake and scorpions, but his magic was powerless against the serpent that no man can destroy. So Neferkata has the power to destroy all the evil reptiles, but except one thing, that is the scorpion. And as often as he hacked it into pieces with his sword, it came together again. Then he sought to put mud on the cut, and the serpent could no longer reunite itself. So Neferkata opened the box and took out the Book of Thoth. So in another book, this part is quite fascinating. So Neferkata took his sword to kill the serpent, and at the very first time, the serpent fight and tried to bite him, and he was so swift, Neferkata cut the serpent in half, and the head chopped off. If you are a child, do not listen. If you are a mother, cover the ear of your child. Okay, cut off the head. And the head was jumping, and the body was jumping, but they were not united. And with some magic, 1 second later, the head reconnect with the body, and then they start to fight again. He cut it again, and this time the Neferkata put the head. He hold the head and throw into the water, So there is water, clean off the blood. So he was thinking maybe they cannot reconnect, but the serpent come back and reconnect the body again. And the third time, Nefakata, fight again, and the head chop off. And this time he immediately put sand on it. Just imagine you grab a head and smear on the sand, on the dust, smear it. And then there was mud, there was sand, there was dirt on the head, on the neck part, and this time they cannot reconnect. So he could reach to the box of Thoth on the first page, and then he opened the iron box, and then he opened the bronze box, and then he opened the cinnamon wood box, and then he opened the ebony box, and then he opened the silver box, and then he opened the gold box, and then finalmente he saw the Book of Thoth. On the first page he read the spell to enchant all created things, whether in the sky, the earth, the sea, or the mountains, and to understand the language of all beasts and birds and fish. He didn't understand the algorithm of YouTube. It was not yet high enough to decode the algorithm. Anyway, yeah, he did not know that language, not Python. Oh, Python language. Was that coming from Greek or Egyptian mythology or Chinese mythology? Python? Yeah. And on the second page, he read the spell to see Ra rising in the heaven with all the gods, and the moon god in his disk, and the ocean depths with all the powers that move in them. Then my husband, the wife said, this is altogether a wife recounting the story. Then my husband returned to me on the riverbank. He put the book in my hand, and I too read the spells. Then Nafakata copied the spell upon a sheet of papyrus and steeped the papyrus in beer so that the writing was dissolved into it. Oh my God. He drank the beer so that the knowledge of the spell could never leave him, and we turned the royal boat north and sailed for Memphis. So they returned home. They did something. They copied, and then they eat it, and drink and dissolve and drink and eat, all disappear. They what do we call it? They manipulate the evidence. What is the legal word? Yeah. But Thoth was full of anger with my husband and complained to Ra. Thoth is the god of all knowledge. Thoth knows, someone stole my book and did all these terrible things. And I'm not happy. He's telling the teacher, and the teacher is Ra, the sun god. It's like in my class, every day there are students telling. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. the God of wisdom sometimes is short of wisdom. He can solve his problem by himself. Why do you come to me? Ra was thinking. Yeah. But Thoth was full of anger with my husband and complained to Ra, who replied, he and all that is his are in your power. To do whatever you want is within your will. So he and everything of his is yours. You can decide their fate, their destiny. Which means Neferkata, his wife, and his son is in your hand. You can decide their fate. Then it was that Mehab, leaning from the boat, was drawn into the river and drowned. With bitter tears, we went back to Coptos, where he was embalmed and entombed. So their son dropped into the water and drowned, and then they went back home in Coptos and embalmed him, made the little baby into a mummy and put into the tomb. We set sail once more, but at the spot where Mehab perished, I too was drawn into the river and drowned. My distraught husband returned to Coptos and laid my embalmed body beside that of our son. Then he returned the boat for the third time towards Memphis. When it reached the city, he was discovered dead in his cabin with the Book of Thoth upon his breast, on his chest. So on his way back home, the magic power is already exercised. His son dropped dead, his wife dropped dead, he himself, Neferkata, also dead. We did not know how he died. He just died inside his cabin. Well, luckily he died of no pain. Prince Satna listened to this story in fear and awe. Nevertheless, he put out his hand to take the Book of Thoth. Then the mummy of Neferkata reared up in its coffin and demanded a contest for the book. Play draughts with me. If you win, the book is yours. Satna agreed, and they began to play. Draughts, I think, it's kind of an Egyptian chess, something like it. Play draughts, and Neferkata won the first game and uttered a spell that imprisoned Satna in the earth to his ankles. He won the second, and Satna snagged to his waist. After the third game, Satna sank upon to his chin. This was plain that Neferkata meant the earth to swallow him entirely. So they play a chess. The first game, Neferkata won. Satna get down to his knees. And then the second time, Neferkata win. Satna, the young prince, went down. And the third time, Neferkata win, and the prince went even down, buried alive, almost buried, even down to the sand. I think it's kind of understandable. In Egypt, there were a lot of sand, right? It's a desert place. In this desperate strait, Satna shouted to his brother at the entrance, Akaheru, Akaheru, brother, brother, run and fetch from the temple sanctuary the great amulet of Thoth, and set it on my head before I lost another game. So go back home, get something, get the amulet of Thoth to set on my head. It must be some magic spell or some head. Akaheron, his brother, run like the wind, like Lamborghini, zoom, like Ferrari, zoom. Or maybe like a saber. Maybe he didn't take Lamborghini or Ferrari. He didn't take Porsche. He take a Cybertruck, and brr, 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 brr. Okay. Luckily, he took Lamborghini. Avaka, his brother, ran like a wind, returning just in time to set the amulet on Satna's head. As the mummy played its last move, Satna sprang out, seized the Book of Thoth, and fled with his brother. Neferkata said to his wailing wife, I will make Satna bring back the Book of Thoth with a goad in his hand and a pot of fire on his head, and he will beg me to take the book from him. Okay. 跑得了和尚跑不了庙，跑得了今天你跑不了明儿个。You can run away today, you will not escape your destiny forever. From that moment, Prince Satna forgot his wife, his children, and his friends in studying the Book of Thoth. When poring over it one day in the temple of Thoth, he saw a woman bringing offerings whose loveliness made him lose his wits in his overwhelming desire to possess her. He sent a servant to inquire her name and learned she was Tabooi, daughter of a priest of Bast. She sent word that she would welcome him at her home near the temple of Bast. So there was one very beautiful woman, and Satna saw him, fell in love. You just get drunk, you get the idea. I see a lot of you young people it's better to have a boring life like me, to marry for 30 years and anyway, so he got her name, and this beautiful woman said, you can come to the temple of Bast, come to me. At the appointed hour, Tabooi greeted him with a smile and led him to a chamber where a banquet waited. Satna at once declared his undying love for her. Okay, Satna could not control himself. I love you, I love you, I really do. Do, he said. I will be yours, she said, but I will have no rival. divorce your wife and give your possession to me. Immediately, Satna wrote a deed doing all this, but your children may dispute this, said Tabooi. Satna's children suddenly appeared beside him, and he made them sign away their inheritance. Then Tabooi said, your children may plot against me. Let them be killed and cast that cats of Bast, and cast to the cats of Bast. Well, he let them be killed and the cat of Bast. Oh, in Egypt the cat was so very unique. So be it, replied Satna. So Satna drank wine with Tabooi, and while he drank, he heard the bodies of his children being ravaged by cats. Oh my. Now I'm yours. So his children were ravaged. What is ravage? Ravage. Is that eaten? So he did kill your kids and throw them to the cats. And then his children was, oh, I cannot read it. Oh, ew. Goo, Titi, who are you? Ew. Okay, we are reading story. Luckily, this is only a story. Now I'm yours, said Tabooi, and she wrapped her arm around Satna. But her arm were dry bones. Her embrace was cold as death. Satna shrieked and fell, and awoke to find himself lying naked in the street. Passerby stared at him, but one stopped to offer him a cloak and asked what afflicted him, what happened to him. The madness of Thoth, Satna replied. And then the stranger said, go home, and you will find your wife and children safe. Satna went home to his unspeakable joy, to what it was. Oh, so Satna went back home to his unspeakable joy. I will give back the book that made the same man mad. I will give back the book that made me mad, he said, and I will carry it back to Nafakata with a gourd in my hand and a pot of fire on my head. Gourd. What is gourd? G-O-A-D. G-O-A-D. Gourd. I do not know what is a gourd. It's a something. It's like a fire or a spike or something. So I will return the book with a gourd in my hand. Let's say it's spikes. Have some sharp knife in my hand, a pot of fire on my head. So Satna returned to the tomb and laid the Book of Thoth upon the dead man's chest. upon Nefertari's chest. And the mummy rose and spoke, "Restore to me also my wife and child, Prince Satna. Bring me their bodies from Coptos, that my family may be united at last." Satna sailed to Coptos and found the tomb of Ahura and Mehab. So Nefertari's wife and son's tomb. He ordered their coffin to be lifted and transported in state So he ordered their coffin and the coffin lifted in one complete piece in very well care to Memphis, where they were placed beside the coffin of Nefertari. Then, by order of Pharaoh, the tomb was sealed forever and ever upon the Book of Thoth. That is actually a very good story. There is something that does not belong to us. We should not ask too much. You ask what is within you, what is belonging to you. Don't ask too much. And there is consequence when you go beyond what is supposed to be you or supposed to belong to you. Accept your life. Accept your fate. Accept you are you. Accept Yang Haiying is Yang Haiying. However good, however bad, however perfect, however imperfect this person is. Live within your limit, within your fate. Thank you very, very much. I love you. I really do. Do. Goodbye.